No matter how hard I try, you keep pushing me aside, and I can't break through. There's no talking to you. I need time to move on. I need love to feel strong.
That's what tonight's gonna be. Tonight is gonna be just
Listen,
share.
We're just doing some little back and forths here because guess what? Welcome to your first. You've already peaked. Monday, right? Monday
Good
episode.
morning, Vietnam.
Fucking damn.
This is the Monday podcast. We have swapped gears. Oh wow, that's very purple. We have swapped gears. We are no longer doing the Friday releases. We don't want to ruin your guys' weekend anymore. We want to ruin your fucking whole week. So podcast is coming out Monday morning from here on out.
Monday morning.
That's what
so
I'm
we
hoping.
can tell you the news that dropped Friday, digested Saturday, got shit out Sunday, and now you hear about it Monday.
Exactly right. We're the idea behind this whole thing was that,
which is better than digesting it Tuesday, chewing it up, regurgitating it, shitting it out, scooping it back up, eating it, and then getting it Friday. That was the full thought process.
Right. And giving ourselves a whole week of catch up gives us a whole week of things to talk about when we start on Friday. Now, not today, of course, not today. This is episode 1 of Yap Podcast because we have nothing to talk about. We're for everybody out here. Monday morning podcast for you guys is just two fucking old dudes shooting the shit.
Just shooting the shit.
Talking about.
If you saw some shit run across your stream, we're Oregon trailing it. Also, the benefit of having it on Fridays, we can let loose a little bit.
We can let loose a little bit.
Most times.
Yeah. I mean, I think the let loose portion of it is the end of the week relax. I mean, not for you, because who fucking knows what your weeks are. Your Monday through Fridays could be any fucking day. It's like talking to Sean sometimes. Like, what day you have off? Like every third Wednesday of second month with the moon in the sky, half crest. It's like, what?
Well, I go through stages. So I do lately it's been 3 on, 1 on call, and then 4 on.
Okay.
But then I just have degeneracy where I have 4 or 5 days off in a row sometimes. The problem is when they don't land on a Friday or a Saturday.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
If I get it's Sunday hits and I got some time off, and then I'm just drinking by myself by a computer. Where's all my friends? Just sad boy.
Oh, get on. I'm at work.
I know. I forget what day it is. Oh shit.
Yeah. Oh man. That's okay though. You're on call tomorrow, so we're fucking just railing live tonight. Just gonna go at it.
Yeah.
How has your week been? I feel like I just talked to you.
Yeah. And Wednesday.
Yeah, I watched the podcast.
So one day has happened.
Yeah, No, we talked on. Oh yeah, we did Wednesday. I watched.
So I had one day of work,
and I
was
watched our podcast today too after it went live, and then we're sitting down and doing this again.
Yeah. What did we talk about in our last podcast? Let's just
idea.
Regurgitate that shit. Yeah, it's already in and out. Hey, let's jump right into it.
Okay.
You killed Reshala.
I did. Fuck, dude. Okay, so I pushed.
Where was he?
He was
That's
in
my
dorms.
first question.
He was in dorms.
Okay.
So I'm on the quest to go get the golden lighter. And so I finally got my 303 key, and I'm like, okay, I just got to get into this fucking place and go. And I've been
fucking
And I spawned at fucking Big Red, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, boom, 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 like mob all the way over, get up, fucking push in. There's no noise. There's no noise at all. I push second floor and I hear like two people like turn the corner and move. And I'm like, oh, and like peek corner and just like dump half a mag of that VSS into like two people. I'm like, sick, dude. That was hot. No, there's no other noise. As I take one step forward, I hear like 5 or 6 voices and I just back up to the stairs and they just kept pushing straight down the hall at me. And I was just like, just cleaning them up. Rashal had pushed out the back.
Yeah.
Dickhole. He just fucking dipped out once the guards were all dead.
Yeah, that's what he does.
And so I heard him like running around the front of the building. So I went back down the stairs and met him at the front next to the cars and then just dropped him there. And it was like, perfect. I had no idea who it was. I thought it was just a bad AI spawn. Because when I showed up, there was just fucking 6 of them inside the second floor of dorms. And I was like, what am I doing here? So thank God I've been playing it with a little bit harder difficulty to like, and having a little bit more like mob spawns to like kind of force. Because after we had talked about like AI just kind of poof, just run, I've started adding more AIs in. So like, when I find fights, I can take on more than one fight at a time.
Yeah, you can get some kills during raids.
Yeah, and it makes it feel a little bit more fun. But yeah, put him down. And it was fairly fucking difficult. Like, I mean, I didn't walk out like unscathed. Like, I think it was black leg, black arm, and black stomach. And I had to like fix myself up.
What... That's the weird thing about this. I don't know what wipe they're operating off of. Yeah. It used to be that he could spawn at New Gas and he could spawn at dorms. And at New Gas, it's a fairly easy fight because you can use distance on his guards and kind of pick them off and then move on Reshala. In dorms, it's a lot more difficult because you got like the hallways. They have a lot more like room to duck out and they will just like peek corners on you. And then Reshala usually just fucking fucks off somewhere in like the back showers and you just gotta just get ready to fucking run in and spray.
I've been killed by guards there before, so I'm assuming it was Reshala's like whole group. Yeah. But I had no idea what it was. I was like, oh, well, that was weird.
So their names, the Starovsky or whatever, it translates to factory worker. And Reshala was from the factory. And that's how he started his smuggling ring.
Got you.
But each set of guards has their own like set of names.
Yeah. I did notice that.
So yeah. So when you get shot by like sanitars, they have, I think it's like a prescription pill or something like that is like what their names are and things like that. They all kind of have names that link them to who they're guarding.
Who's that?
Sanitar. So he is the shoreline boss. He's a bitch.
I got killed by someone called Xanatar?
Sanitar?
Does it start with
I
a
forget
Z?
what his guard. S.
Oh, who's the guy that starts with a Z? I got sniped by some dude starting with a Z.
Oh, that's Lighthouse Zerachi.
Oh, Lighthouse. Okay. Zerachi.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Lighthouse. And like pushed off and just got plinked. And I was like, I don't know what happened.
No. You don't do that to Zerachi.
So
he has his own little guards.
Yeah, I went back in after I got
just like a hill full of snipers.
Yeah, so like I went back in because I was like, "What is that again?" And like I was looking up. I took a sniper and was like looking up in the hills and I saw someone up there. I was like, "Oh, it's just that sniper." Plinked him and then got headshot by him again. And I was like, "Okay, I don't know what's happening here." So I thought I was just in the wrong spot. You know how like there's those markers? It's like snipers this direction. It's like obviously end of map. Don't press it. So that's what I just thought it was. But
so yes, it kind of is that. Because you're supposed to get a quest item. This is not many except for like the really like hardcore people ever make it to like the lighthouse quests. But there's a thing where you get like a beacon and you have to like hold the beacon out as like a don't shoot me. So yes, nobody's really supposed to make it past that unless you're holding the thing.
Got you.
And that's the sniper's job. When you have the beacon, you make it out there, you find the lighthouse keeper, and then he's the one that starts giving you quests. You have to turn in your quest to him physically.
Got you, because that's what I was reading, is that there's a quest giver out there. So I've just been running around Lighthouse looking for this quest giver. I can't find it.
Oh, it's deep.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's like level 50 deep.
I mean, I'll talk about it in the sense that like I'm completely enamored by Tarkov right now, because I'm doing things that have just I've never been able to do in Tarkov, and it's been really fucking cool. To a degree. I think we talked about it today. When we were texting you, I was like, I finally think I realize what is so shit about online Tarkov. It's like, yeah, we were talking about the MMR system, but it's like,
yeah, there isn't really any,
because of the way the questing progresses. It has you going back to places like woods or like customs or interchange and shit like that.
Yeah.
Once you've finished at a certain point, like once your map starts saying things like breeze or easy or normal, difficulty or whatever, because you progress so far and like you're actually kitted up enough. But then like going back and thinking about it, it's like that's where you always start. So any new player or new person coming in is going to just be fodder for farmers for that time period. Well, yes and no, but I mean,
yeah,
to a degree.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And like, not only that, but like, okay, for like a certain point, it was like late game missions where it's like you have to find food for stuff and rations. Like you're either going.
They all keep coming back though.
I know, and that's what I'm saying.
It's almost like you either ride with the power curve, or you have to find that sweet spot, because eventually the people that are here do start coming back to that map.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. That's where I think because right now I'm trying to find a fucking sausage. I swear to God, Jaeger is the worst. I cannot with that fucking guy. He has the worst quest. Like, go get dehydrated for 5 minutes. It's like, why? Well, it's to build character. Like, you're a fucking idiot.
No, it builds character.
I mean,
there's nothing like being in an online, well, when you're playing it like real life, and you're sitting there and they're like, okay, or you eat the fucking mayonnaise, and it's you and two other guys just sitting in a bush, and you're just shoveling mayonnaise in your mouth, and then everybody's just waiting for you to say like, okay, I can drink again.
Yeah, I ran the map and I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea or not. Like, I took a stim thing to like stop tremors or whatever, and then ate a bunch of fucking mayonnaise and like got dehydrated. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm ready to roll. And I just walked the map and did what I could. But like once the stim ran out, then it was like fucking couldn't see focus. I was like, dude, do I just stop and wait? Like, I don't want to get planked by something I can't see. And then it was like, it's done. And I was just like guzzling fucking pineapple juice. I don't know. It's a great experience for what I'm doing now, but it's done something for me that I wish it would do for more people that haven't played Tarkov, is it's making me want to play online.
Yeah.
It's
giving you the bug, and it's giving you enough time to kind of digest it and like get to understand it. That's the hardest part of Tarkov is, well, knowledge, first of all. Like you were saying, like if you know stuff, like locations of cars, like when you start having to like tag tanks, like where the fuck, like, yeah, that's another huge part. Just the knowledge there. I mean, you could go in. Sometimes we go into like when you all have them on shoreline. I've got all my markers in my hot slots. I have markers all the way shoved up my ass, and like I'm just knocking out like 3 or 4 missions at a time. Yeah. When you can do that, it's so different.
Well, I it's not just that also, but it's like I've been trying to do this from just memory, where I don't have the wiki up next to me. I don't have, because there's no negatives of that, right? There's no negatives. I'm not online grinding against other people. So like I'm not hindered by that at all. That sausage question or whatever fucking it's called for Jaeger.
Delicious sausage.
Yeah. Just trying to find where I'm supposed to go is incredibly difficult because nothing is in English, right? The quests are in English, but the streets and shit aren't in English. I had no idea. I kept looking at this location, trying to like map out where I'm supposed to be in my brain, and then like trying to like kind of like it took me fucking 4 or 5 runs through streets before I realized this one section is cinema. And I was like, okay, I've got that. I know that because I know if there's the fucking
there's cinema and there's also theater. It's shit like that.
But it's like, and then trying to remember where like extracts are from memory by just mapping it out, because I think that's what is going to make a good player in the end, is knowing the maps. The more I've been watching this dude this dude who's been playing the Rags to Riches, like going in with absolutely nothing and then just pushing as far as you possibly can type of thing during wipe. I mean, at a certain point, it just becomes normal Tarkov at that point. But like at the very beginning portions of it, knowing like where caches are and what you can grab and how to hit certain things, like in and out. And like his first run in is like, okay,
fastest way to find a weapon.
Yeah, he just like was like, we're going to streets first. Like we're not touching anything else. We're going to do streets first because it's the best chance. We have nothing. So if we die, who gives a shit? We just keep going. You know what I mean? And it's that type of like idea that you just cycle through this whole thing. And it was just really interesting to see someone who has knowledge being like, okay, I got to hit here. This is where I'm at. This is the street. This is where extract will be. I got to go boop, 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 and going through it. And I was like, damn, that's dope. If I had that knowledge, Tarkov would feel so much better picking and choosing. I know where landmines are outside, like where the construction site is, and there's the grocery store or whatever, and there's that little fucking place,
little playground.
Yeah. But for whatever reason, dude, I'm like, okay, don't stand there because that's a landmine. Turn one corner, boom, blow up. And I'm like, I don't get it. So
yeah, that one. and like the tricky part is you have to be like all the way against the wall on the other side of the street sometimes for the landmines to not get you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like you can walk like you still have to be on the right side of the road. But like you could be like still kind of in the road. But if the guards for Kaban spawn at the Lexos, there is a gunner that has a grenade launcher that can absolutely demolish you. So if you are too far over from those mines, you're also in danger of a guy just like just shooting grenades at you. It's infuriating. I fucking hate that part of the map.
After 6 wipes of streets, my Google search was, are mines on streets of Tarkov random? I was like, there's no fucking way this is real life right now. I was getting so bad. Oh, Christ. So, whatever. Oh, in other gaming news, Final Fantasy XIV's newest expansion got announced. So, Yoshi P.
So no more Tarkov? You're gone again?
No. It's not coming out for a little bit. They the main dev guy for Final Fantasy 14, like they did a huge thing at PAX. They announced it, whole thing. They showed everything about it. Yoshi P's talking. He's like, all right, so we had to pick a release date, but we have a date in mind because this is what we need to keep in line with all of our gaming schedule and how we have to keep everything for every expansion. When every 2 years when it pops up, we have to try and shoot for the same window or things get fucked up. He's like, but there is a game coming out that is within that window. And he's like, and that's Elden Ring. And so everybody was like, oh, and he's like, so, and it's not because I want to play Elden Ring, because you know I'm going to. He's like, so we're going to push the launch date for this game so everybody can play Elden Ring. And everybody's like, ah, yay, awesome. He's like, I'm giving you 1 week. But that means we gotta pump on Elden Ring quick for a week, because I gotta start grinding for Savage tier.
Man,
no, I've got plenty of time. I don't think the first Savage tier comes out for the first couple months. So
a week of Elden Ring, that would be like we're both contracting COVID.
I'll take time off.
I'm just gonna start swabbing people's noses now, collecting fucking tests. I'm still sick. Oh, I'm so
just hermetically seal each one of them so you can just pull it out and be like, oh, we gotta do a new test. There you go. Oh fuck, it's legit. Man. He's got the super bug.
Yeah, in the middle of what, June?
I think July
COVID season.
July 6th is when Final Fantasy 14's expansion launch. I'm so excited. That's my MMO. Like that's been my MMO forever. It is not for everyone. I actually it sucks because me and Sean were playing it together. It's such a cool, beautiful story, and I want everyone to play it for story. But like the people who are diehard MMO people, the people who've been playing WoW forever, Guild Wars 2, shit like that, it's really a hard game to grab, or if you're not an MMO person to then jump into. It's like, okay, look, the first game, A Realm Reborn, takes probably something like 60 hours to beat. And if you do everything, it's like 120 to 200 hours. And it's slow. It's slow. And it's not slow bad. Like if you're there for a story, if you play JRPGs and you're there for a story, it's great. It's a great story. It's a beautiful story. It's wonderful. But like the actual progression of the game feels just fucking slow. Yoshi P was talking about it. He's like, we think that we may have made the game too easy for people. So this newest expansion, we're changing some things up. And it's like, oh, I'm excited to hear that because I want tough content.
Too easy how?
So right now, the way that the dynamic works, especially when it comes to Savage tier, when you have people that are geared out to the max, tanks don't need healers. So if you play correctly, everything in the game is pretty simple. Bosses does mechanic thing is on ground, don't stand in bad. When mechanic thing goes away, damage goes out. If everybody knows what they're doing and they can just see bad here, move this way. Or you know that a boss's move will always attack on the left, so you have to stand on the right. It's pretty like you do it a couple times and wipe, and then after a few times you kind of like, okay, this is the pattern. This is like he has one or two chances to do this move. So you just kind of start doing this song and dance. It becomes a waltz in a sense. Like every step, every tempo, you know your timing. Abilities have to fire off in 62 minutes. Like, okay, when you're hitting these numbers, you know certain things are happening in the boss fight. So as long as you can just do the dance, it's very easy. Well, if you can do the dance, no one ever takes any damage. And tanks have such great ability to heal themselves. People have been clearing Savage tier, like the hardest content, with no healers. So they're talking about like, okay, we may have made it a little too easy. Like tanks are way too overtuned. Like healers are just like, if healers are high on the healing meter and low on the DPS meter, people are like, you're doing the job wrong. It's like, I'm a healer. I'm supposed to be healing. Yeah, but there's no damage. Like, what are you healing? You should be doing.
There's no need for it.
Exactly. So people have just stopped picking up healers and just started picking up fucking other DPS for the position.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's weird to see that type of thing. But I mean, that's what people have been doing. So they're talking about making the newer content that's coming out difficult again. And I'm like, I'm all about that. Cause like the second expansion, Heaven's Sword, was like, it was almost too hard. Like the community was like, you guys are fucking us. Like, I don't know what you're doing, but you need to calm down a little bit. Like impossible. Like to the point where it was like, you can't take certain jobs in because they couldn't complete content. It was like, okay, well, that's wrong. Like everybody should be able to play the game. Let's bring it back a little bit. So anyway, I'm just really excited to see what happens. 2 new classes, new character, a whole new zone, 2 years of content. I'm excited.
2 years in the making, right?
Yeah, so that is
2 years in the making, 2 months to finish it.
No, absolutely not.
Nope.
So the way that all MMOs work, so an expansion's life cycle is about 2 years long. And so every, let's say 6 months to a year, content is dropped in, well, more than that, but they're dropped in sections. So it's like,
you drip fed to you.
Yeah, kind of. But it's like, here's a chunk of content. This is what's called a raid tier. This is this raid tier's chunk of content. You have 6 months or 8 months to complete it. And then by the end of that, we drop the next portion of the expansion. And then here's the next raid tier. And then people like farm that. And it's new bosses. It's harder difficulty. Gear goes up and they tune it up for you grinding up for the next level.
Okay.
So that's how most MMOs work. So because they do that, the story itself, you get your chunk of story at the initial launch, you get your first set of dungeons, whatever, and then the raid tier gets launched. And then you have 8 months until the next set of the story, the next raid tier, blah, 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 all the way down for 2 years. And then the next expansion comes out. So that way it's not like, blam, here's all the content. People push it, do it hella fast, and then no one touches the game again until the next expansion. Yeah. Because it takes so long for them to build these write the stories, do all the voice acting, all the animations, come up with new classes, things like that. So it's nice. It also allows you to, it's kind of like a Tarkov wipe. You play, you finish your stuff, okay, we'll go play something else. Come back and when the next set of content comes out. That way you don't burn out. You're not just constantly recycling the same thing over and over again. Just like, man, I hate this fucking game. I wish there was something else to do. So,
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. I'm pumped about it. I just love that game. I love the way the jobs look. I think I'm just a weeb at heart is just what it is.
Yeah,
I'm not.
you are.
I'm not a cat girl in that game though.
Yet.
I was.
I was. Still a chance for me to turn back.
I'm reformed.
Sure. Man.
Hmm.
Can I tell you something?
Of course you can.
I was watching the old Talkatics,
Okay.
and you know Talkatics, right?
Yeah.
You're on the tick of talks.
I am not.
You're scrolling. It's like real, and then like there's like it's like every like 5 or so. It's like a live stream.
Uh-huh.
Oh, somebody playing Dragon's Dogma 2.
It looks good, huh?
It looked good.
Yeah, I've been watching some people play it.
I was watching him. He's casting all the spells and shit, and I was like, it looks like he has targeting right there, and like he was doing some sick shit. I was like, God. It hasn't even been a week since I returned it.
That's what I'm saying. I think it just needs to fix its bullshit because like here's also the question: was he playing on PC or was he playing on console?
Yeah, touche. I don't know that part.
I mean, everybody that
I didn't watch that much. I just got pissed off and changed
the people that have been watching it play have been either on Xbox or PlayStation. I have not seen anybody being like, here's the content from PC. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I can't imagine it's doing very well that way. But all the content I have been watching, I'm like, oh wait, this looks great. Innie Mouse just put out a video of it. It's like a 20-minute video of him just playing through the game or whatever. It was just like, it just looks so fun. Like it's just stupid fun, and it just looks like Dragon's Dogma.
it makes me wonder. Like, I know what my initial like gripes were. The microtransactions pissed me the fuck off.
Yeah.
I was fucking fired up about that.
Yeah.
I really, maybe it's because I was a fighter. Maybe I'm not meant to be a fighter in that game. Watching the dude like throw spells and shit like that was sick. So maybe I just should have chosen a different play style.
Well, you unlock the play styles as you play the game too, and you can swap to them.
But I will say, it was fun watching him play that part. I still stand by the fact that when I was watching like those like stories and cutscenes, I was like, what the fuck? Like, it wasn't great.
It feels like it's one of those games where you can just mash A to get through all the conversation and then just play the game.
Yeah, you
know what I
can.
mean? I think.
Yeah, but you feel like you're missing shit.
Are you though?
Well, maybe not in this one, but I feel like there's like certain times like you play a game and you're like halfway through and somebody says something like, wait, what? And like they like make a reference to like, you remember back in the city. And like, I don't fucking pay attention to any of that.
I've got like 500 hours in Warframe and I couldn't tell you.
You get to the end of it, you're like, I'm fucking king now? The fuck is this?
Oh man. There are just some games you just skip the content. Like Warframe is a good example of like the overall lore of Warframe is fucking cool. I love the idea and the story of Warframe and all the different things that like intertwine together. I could not recall a single fucking conversation from that game at all. At all. Like there's so much shit in that fucking game. It's like, I have no fucking idea. I'll go to Fortuna and people will talk to me and I'll be like, I don't even remember who the fuck you are. Like, yeah. Hey, we've been together for like
shit where you have to
6
check like
years.
your like mission quest or like journal or something. Like, what am I even doing in this game?
Like you just stop, question, immediately open the wiki and be like,
Well, but don't allude to anything story wise. Just like go here, do this. All right, got it.
Yeah. Sometimes there's games that just do better. Like, you know, that a game was designed for gameplay and not for story. And then it's like, beautiful, cool. I'm okay to just play the game for the content itself, not for all the arcing story. Like, there's a lot of games. I want to say shooter games are notorious for that, where it's like,
I could really give a shit. As long as you tell me what my objective is, I'm pretty good without it.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, the newer Call of Duty's really hammered hard on like story stuff, which was cool to see. I mean, I think Modern Warfare, like Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, the first one, 7, and like Modern Warfare 2, I think might have had like some of the best storyline for the Call of Duty like universe. World at War was trash. Black Ops, the first Black Ops was pretty good story. It was a Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2 was a really good story. Ghost was shit. Black Ops 3 was shit. Vanguard was shit. Modern Warfare 1 or
I feel
World War
like
2 or World War 1, World War 2, whatever that one was.
I can't even remember the one that had the first Warzone. Between that and the
Black
one
Ops, Blackout.
No, the one past that. So
Modern Warfare?
after the one with Blackout, it was Modern Warfare, where Captain Price was first brought in.
Mm-hmm.
So that one,
phenomenal. That was really good.
That, and then before that, I think the last one I actually played the campaign mode was, remember the one where like you're a sniper and you're like walking through the fields and you have to take silence shots at people?
It's Call of Duty 4.
Yeah.
We're like he's like, you're with Price and Price is like, stop moving, and like all the armies walking by and the tanks are rolling past you and just laying in the field.
Yeah. And like not good graphics.
No. Yeah, that was 07's.
Everything in between those two, I've never played.
Really?
Never played their campaign.
Bro, I was a diehard Call of Duty campaigner because like I loved
used to be, but then I feel like 07, it's like we start playing Nazi zombies and we start playing like on, at least me.
Oof.
Once I got into like online like multiplayer, I was like, I don't give a who plays for the fucking campaign.
Man, when World of War came out, that changed my life. I wasted that. I have a buddy, Alan, who lives in Texas. Me, him, and his cousin. I've never met this kid in my entire life. Me and Alan have a beautiful relationship. We talked on the phone maybe like 3 or 4 times. He messaged me for my birthday. I just wrote him back. Like we talk constantly. I've known him since 07. I've never met him. When we were both going through hard times, he would send me money. I would send him money. Couldn't buy games. He'd send me a game. I'd send him a game. He's a legit pen pal. Coolest fucking person I've ever met in my life.
For those of you who don't know, pen pals are people that you usually haven't met and you send letters back and forth in correspondence.
Yeah.
Pen pal.
Man,
that's a Gen X term.
I think it's that maybe even boomer.
We're Gen X, right?
No, I think we're Zillennials or whatever they're called.
Oh, we're Gen X.
No. Gen X.
I'm sorry. Do you remember when Fred Durst said Generation X, Generation Strange?
Generation X, Generation Strange was also, Fred Durst is 10 years older than us.
Let's go ahead and talk shit. Talk shit about me. It's my generation. If you know that song, I think you can safely claim that you are Gen X. He is much older than us, though.
Gen X. I'm looking at Gen X. I'm trying to figure out.
Is there an asterisk that said unless you had the chocolate starfish and hot dog flavored water album, then you can be considered? Because I feel like I fall into that category.
That's Gen Z, Gen X years, 1965 to 1980.
Yeah, so he actually probably is Generation X. God damn it! I don't know. I identify as that.
1981 to 1996 is millennials. That's us. We're millennials.
I don't like that.
It's bullshit.
I don't like that.
Also, that's a wide gap. Like 81 to 96. Like the kids in 96 are not anyone I contribute myself with.
No
way.
They didn't grow up on X-Men like we did. They didn't fucking get
the kids now. Oh, did you see the revamp X-Men? Yeah. Like the first thing I saw was like, how the fuck are you gonna do Rogue like that? And like they took her butt away and she's got like just pancake ass. So fucking funny.
Man, I was watching it with my girl. I was like, listen, I know you're not gonna care about this at all, but I need to watch this. She's like, all right. And she was sitting there and like they started like Storm came in. I was like, that's not how it looked. That's not how it looked. And then I saw how it looked back then. Granted, like the animations are much cleaner now, but I was pulling up like the old Marvel cards like that you have.
Yeah.
I was all, dude, if I had $1 for every minute that I looked at Psylocke as a kid, just a fucking card of her just hiding it from my mom. Oh.
Well, the cartoon, the original cartoon, I think was drawn. The animated series was drawn by a bunch of dudes that did comic books. So I think it had something to do with where it was like very one for one. It was even so at that same time in the 90s, we had Spider-Man and we had X-Men. Those were the two that like came out because we had
they were good.
Oh, well,
and Batman.
I was going to say, and the animated Batman. And the animated Batman became its own specific art style that they then made comic books based off of, which was fucking dope. You know what I mean? So those 3 cartoons are my fucking childhood. I was my dad has been a comic book nut forever, right? That was like our thing back in the day was we used to go, you remember in Folsom, okay, right next to FLB, there's the Dimple Records, or used to be Dimple Records. I don't know if it's there. Right next to that was a comic book shop. Every Friday, well, usually every Friday or whatever, we would do 2 things. We would go to Dimple and then we would go to the comic book store or comic books and then end up in Dimple. And my dad would be, we didn't have a ton of money, but my dad would be like, okay, comic books are like $2 a pop. You got $6 to spend. A CD is like $10. You got $10 to spend. You can go and pick out one of each. You can use the 10 for more comic books, or you can use the 6 for more CDs, whatever you want to do, but this is what you have. And we would just fucking filter and we would just look. He'd be like, oh, new Spawn's out. He'll pick up Todd McFarlane's Spawn. I'd fucking grab some like crazy off the wall, like book, like, and that's why I have so many fucking comic books just stacked.
Sick collection.
You know what I mean? And that was our jam. That was our thing. So when the animated series came out, my dad was like, all right, like every Saturday morning, it was Saturday morning cartoons, right?
Saturday mornings were so fucking
so sick, dude. And then it'd be like X-Men's on, and I would fucking jam out of bed, like in PJs, just half asleep, just like bowl of cereal in front of me, soggy as fuck because I'm not eating it, and that was my childhood. So it's like seeing and that's a nostalgia point that I fucking hate, is like seeing all of it being like, hey, that was dope for you guys, and now that we're the adults making the entertainment, let's just remake the shit we loved. And then you just like kind of half-ass it. Like it doesn't hit the same, man. Like I know what you're going for, I know what you're trying, but it's not quite there.
It tickles the itch, but doesn't scratch it.
No, there's going to be nothing like me as a child watching, Morph die the first time and like fucking Wolverine loses shit. Like, we got to go back for him. Like, he's already dead. You know what I mean? Like shit like that as a kid, it's like, it just doesn't translate. But I think that goes back to what we're talking about with other video games, where it's like, it's not for us. It's for whatever new generation is coming up. And if that's the case, then fine. I can leave my stuff in the past. I saw TikTok.
Can we get like an AI remaster though? Come on, just bring it up. Take all that and just clean it up a little bit for us.
I mean, it probably most of it is AI anyway at this point.
Yeah.
I watched the newest episode of Invincible. I don't know if you watch Invincible at all.
I've seen, so there's the break for season 2, and then I've seen the first episode released.
Okay, so there's been 2 more or 3 more? 2 more episodes. I think it's episode 8 right now. Yeah, so it came back at 5.
7, right?
5.
Oh.
I think it was only 4 episodes for the first season. 4 or 5 episodes. And then we're either in 8 or 9. I think we're at 8 right now. So there's been 3 episodes. It's just such a good fucking show. So I read the graphic novel like a long time ago, and I was really involved. I was like, dude, this is a really cool story. It was kind of gimmicky a little bit, but it was it was just brutally like bloody and gory in the comic. And I was like, I'm all about that, And so watching the show, it followed it pretty one for one for season 1. Season 2 has been a little and it's not bad. It's not bad by any means, but there's a part in the episode fucking Mark goes to like Comic-Con or whatever, and he's like trying to get
Oh, I just saw that.
the guy's like, yeah, we can save money on other. He's like, those fight scenes are. He's like, have you ever noticed how sometimes you don't see their mouth? He's like, no, I never thought about that. It's just hella.
But sometimes they get too detailed and it takes away from what we're going for.
Cuts into like hella fucking like gorgeous ass. That was really
so good.
That was so funny. It was so fucking funny to watch. Oh my god, I was laughing so hard.
Damn, I'm really gonna look further into this next season. So good.
I mean, it's a good show. I think the actors that are in it, like just the art style, the way that the fights were, it's just a really fucking fun show. Yeah.
It took me by surprise when it came out. It's just one person just mentioned, when you get in a lull, you have nothing to watch and somebody just mentioned something, you're like, okay. And I put it on. It probably took when you turn something on and it just doesn't get you immediately, so you're like, oh, I'll watch this later, and then when I gave it a full 15 minutes or something and started getting into it, when Omni-Man just really starts raining hell, I was like, what the fuck am I watching? The first splitting somebody's head in half,
eye pops out. It's like, yeah.
It's like you turn off the stove and you go sit down. You're like, oh no, I need to buckle in.
Fucking door dashing McDonald's just so you can finish the episode.
Yeah, no, it's fucking.
Oh man, it's so good. After season 1, I remember rewatching it. Season 2 came out. There was a lull. I rewatched season 1 back up. I really just enjoy it. The art style alone is the nostalgia from the 90s, from our cartoons and the comics and all that stuff. And the fact that it's done very much so like the graphic novel, looks very much so like the graphic novel, not taken from it, but almost artistically the same one for one. And so being able to watch that as an adult and then see adult content in that show hits the same way that the animated Spawn series on HBO hit. You know what I mean? I remember watching that as a kid because that was the thing with me and my dad. We read the Spawn comic books and shit like that, and we were in love with Todd McFarlane, and he was just such a fucking, the reason why we have Venom in Spider-Man is because of Todd McFarlane. He created Venom back in the 90s and then left and did his own stuff and came up with Spawn. And it was this whole fucking thing. It was really cool. And I remember watching Spawn as a kid on HBO late at night because my dad was like, all right, we're gonna do this, and it was like, oh, this is fucking gruesome and sexually driven and really fucking out there. And I didn't necessarily grasp it as a kid, but I could see the one for one of the comic, especially since Todd McFarlane was helping animate the show. I could see that one for one and be like, yeah, it's like the comic. But now as an adult, seeing a comic as the show have it just
kind of picks up that same mantle, if you will.
It hits on a very specific level that I just don't think I would have got if I wasn't a kid.
It's one step further from Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty I still think is very adult driven, but kids still watch it because it's silly and funny. But to have the seriousness within it while also having the adult themes and stuff, it feels like a cartoon that's actually made for us that are still children inside.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly how to say it.
I think
some things that you feel like they water it down so it hits that broader audience maybe and stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely think anything that gets the Adult Swim level is for the newly adult children.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's here's humor, but we're not going to push it too hard because your little siblings might be watching it with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Where this is more okay, we're just going to let you know this is for adults. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Adult Swim still. Look, here's the thing. I can't watch TV shows. I don't watch movies. I don't care enough. It's not something that has ever hit me in a way that I have to see a new movie or I have to see a new TV show or oh man, the newest fucking
new Fast and Furious is coming out,
or just when Game of Thrones.
You guys want to go see Beekeeper with Jason Statham? When basically another Fast and Furious movie.
When Game of Thrones came out, I had read the first book, and so I was starting to read the second book in the series and found out the show was coming out. I was like, okay, I'm gonna blast through it. Got through like the second book or like into the third book or something. And like, while I was reading it, I was like, okay, fantasy's not really always my jive. Like I'm not like, I love Lord of the Rings, but not in the same way as other people do. Right. Like I'd rather watch Star Wars than watch Lord of the Rings. Right. Like I've always been sci-fi for whatever it comes out to. So when Game of Thrones was coming out and it's this fucking big fantasy thing and dragons and people dying all over the place, and I was like, okay, I get it. It's kind of fucking boring, but I get it. You didn't understand the family dynamic. Who gives a shit? It's fine. So I watched season 1.
They're brother and sister.
Yeah. I watched season 1 and was like, all right, it's a show. I'm fine. I watched season 2 and was like, I'm about where I was in the book. I just stopped caring. I got into season 3. I was like, I'm done. And I have not finished watching Game of Thrones. I mean, I kept up with it because of all the because nobody would shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that was me. I couldn't get enough of it. Jesus Christ, dude. I thought your story was going a completely different way. First off, I hate to admit this. I was one of those annoying people who's like, actually in the books, like I didn't even read the book, but like season 1 came out, I was all in the book. I knew that there was differences.
Yeah.
So I just quote that. I never said like I've read all the books, but like I'd always make it seem like I had read the books.
Oh, wow.
And then I started reading the books. Like I watched season 1 and got the book.
Mm-hmm.
Season 1 finished, read the first book, and I was like, there's so much more in here. And then so I started reading the second, and then the second season came out, and then I like just put the book away.
Mm.
And then I'd watch the second season and then pick the book back up. I'd be like, they didn't even touch on this. Like there's like the books are way better.
Yeah.
And so much more involved. Maybe not. It's not like the books where like the books spelled it out a lot more. No, there's just a lot more like side quests everywhere.
Yeah.
That weren't gone into. But I was like fucking. We had cauldrons with dry ice in it that we'd pour water in so that the floor was all smoky. And there'd be 16 people in my little living room. We had house banners on the walls and everybody God, like, screaming. And to like that, like every Sunday had watch parties.
I mean, that's dope. It's dope.
No, it's so cool until you get to the last 2 seasons. If you really enjoyed it, but you made it to the last 2 seasons, that was the most. That's like, what's a comparison? Like going
Sopranos.
undefeated, being like, oh yeah. I was gonna say being a football fan and your team just going undefeated, blowing everybody out, and then just not showing up at the Super Bowl. Like that's what it was like. You were like fanatical about it, and then just the last 2 seasons, you're sitting through 4 quarters of fucking just getting your shit pushed in. But like even more than that, like you paid money. Like they're undefeated. I'm gonna watch my team win. You paid like you reverse mortgaged your house. Like that's how bad it felt to go to a Super Bowl to watch your team just get fucking smoked. It was so bad.
I mean, I'm glad that I missed it, so I don't have that feeling and emotion, which makes it so much better for me. But it's also one of those things that I also don't know if the reason why I stopped watching it was the same reason I had stopped watching Breaking Bad for a while. I finished Breaking Bad. I love Breaking Bad. Like, don't get me wrong. I fucking love Breaking Bad.
But you don't like when everybody's fucking just
trying to jam it down your fucking throat. And it's like, dude, just let me watch it. Well, you didn't see last episode. We can't talk about it. I understand. I'd work. Sorry. Like, I'll catch up when I catch up.
I would delete Facebook. Just off my okay. But I would delete it just so like there's no people speculating and stuff. Like I just kept it like the circle of fucking nerds that would come over to my place and watch it with me. And we just, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
What about this?
So one show that I think does a book justice and does the show even better and without like missing points or removing a bunch of stuff is The Expanse. The Expanse is fucking, swear to God. So season 1 of The Expanse, they may have introduced a character that wasn't until book 2, but they kind of had to do it. Yeah, huh?
I don't know where to begin. What is The Expanse? What network is it on? I guess I've never even heard of this.
I don't know, what is
BBC? Like, is that weird? So if you go to Al
No,
Jazeera,
it's done. It's done. So Expanse is done. I don't think they're doing any more of it. It was on FX, I think. Maybe. I don't remember where it ended up at, but I know you can watch it. It's either on Hulu or on HBO. I don't remember where it's at right now, but you can watch everything online on one of our fucking billion streaming platforms. Expanse is a sci-fi novel. Well, it started as a sci-fi novel. This dude was cranking out these fucking books. It's about a group of people that it's really fucking hard to explain because every book almost it's so sick. Every book is like from a different perspective while everything is kind of happening at the same time. So storylines are progressing together and you're following characters, and then another season will start or whatever, and like it follows another set of characters, and then you're finding out that those characters are like mirroring the same other characters, and then somehow they intertwine and make up, and then they split off. Like it's just a fucking brilliant story, wonderful writing. It's got really cool actors. Like, I mean, just the actors alone in the show are great, but like the book to show was like 1-for-1 to the point where I read the book well before the show came out, well before the show came out. And I was like, man, I hope they don't cheese dick it. I really like this book. Season 1 came out and I was like, there wasn't a fucking page skipped. It was so cool. And then like putting all the characters together and seeing them on screen, there's a little bit of differences between the book and like the characters, like nationalities, the way they talk and stuff like that. But like, who gives a shit about that? It's fucking television. Make it whatever you want. But for the story, 1-for-1, all the way down. And it's great. It's a great, I think it's like 5 seasons, something like that. It's worth a watch. It's worth a watch.
it's a good chunk.
That's a good chunk.
And that's almost always like what we look for, me and my girl. Because like, yeah, sometimes it's fun to like ride the new show and see it every time. But man, sometimes we just want something to fucking
Binge.
Like when you start going through, you're like, it's got 3 seasons. How many episodes per season? 8. Nah.
Yeah.
Not cutting it.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. We can do that in a weekend. That's some bullshit.
Expanse. I'm gonna have to remember that one.
I will fucking remind you frequently about it. But going back to what we were talking about originally is like, even outside of the shows, like stuff that I just don't watch that people fall in love with, there's very few things that I am like involved with. Cartoons. Dude, I will always watch cartoons. There's a YouTube playlist that I have that's just 1940s Looney Tunes. 10-hour loop.
It's a little far.
Is it?
For me.
That's the best of the Looney Tunes. Back during like Tex Avery. Well, Tex Avery was like 80s or whatever, but like all the old fucking Looney Tunes and shit, dude. Like that was what I grew up on. I grew up on the Pink Panther. I got it tattooed on the back of my leg. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I understand where you're coming from. I just, I guess I cherry pick them. Because there's definitely some, like when like Looney Tunes would be on it and it would just be like, you know, they haven't made anything new. They're just recycling all the stuff, maybe like adding color to some of them. But like, there's something like, and then there's something like, I've seen this 9 times. This is my favorite one. Like those ones will get me pumped, but it would take like very specific ones where you're like, oh, memory triggered.
That's funny because like some of the Looney Tunes for me, like the most memorable Looney Tunes aren't of like Elmer Fudd or Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck. It's like the wild off ones where like the characters that you would never hear about, or they were just one-off characters for that episode or whatever we're in. And it's just like some of that just hits on levels that are just way more different than for me. It's like, I love old cartoons like that though. Like I rewatched old Betty Boop and fucking, I don't know, like all the Hanna-Barbera stuff, like Flintstones, fucking Jetsons. Like I am a sucker for those.
I just tried to rewatch Jetsons because I remember, you know, I wouldn't say it was my go-to as a kid, but like back in our day when there was just scheduled programming and it's like, that's what's on. So you watched it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I remember the Jetsons. I put it on. I was like, this is kind of rough right now.
Yeah. I mean, you have to have the mindset.
Hanna-Barbera was a respected name.
It's still a respected name. You don't have things today, cartoon-wise, without them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? History is history.
Flintstones, Jetsons.
Huckleberry Hound,
4 or 5 big ones. Huckleberry Hound, yeah.
fucking Wacky Races, man.
And then next thing you know, we've got Cow and Chicken and fucking Cat Dog, and all of a sudden,
bro, original Cartoon Network.
everything takes a turn.
Original Cartoon Network may have been the shit though. Cow and Chicken, IR Baboon, like I am Weasel, like
I am Weasel.
What was the show? Fuck. Okay, so you remember the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy?
Yeah.
That started on another show. It was a 2-part show. God, it was a fucking. Remember, there's a bear that had a brain in it inside of him. Fuck, what was it called?
Oh.
It was like Grim and something. Grim and Evil, I think is what it was. Grim and Evil.
Yes.
Grim and Evil. It was the evil fucking whatever was the part of the show, and then Grim, and then they split off and had the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Fuck, dude, that was. I mean, Invader Zim, shit like that. I don't know if it was like if that was just a time period of exploratory cartoons.
That's a good way to say it.
But that's when like
there's just a lot of styles. I think just like kind of exploded from there. Because I mean, you got, I don't know, like Powerpuff Girls stuff, like even that. Like it's kind of like a spin-off of like I guess like American anime, which I guess eventually led to like Samurai Jack and shit like that. But like
sure.
it's just like it was like a hub for like weird, maybe not weird, but just like different styles, things like that. And they just went off. God, they were so good. Ed, Ed and Eddie, like,
oh my God, Ed, Ed and Eddie, still to this day, Powerpuff Girls and Ed, Ed and Eddie may have been like one of the things that I always watched. Like
Dexter's Lab.
Dexter's Lab was good. Fuck, dude. Johnny Bravo.
That's one. That one's wild.
That one.
There's a lot of them that are wild. Like obviously, like Ren and Stimpy's fucking obscene. But I love that. Like, I got an idea for a show. It's gonna be about a 40-year-old that lives with his mom. He's just gonna hit on girls all day. And we're gonna sell it to kids. We're gonna sell it to kids. Awesome.
His best friend next door is a 6-year-old girl. What?
Yeah, some weird shit.
Oh my God.
It's important to remember that while those ideas were being developed and like workshopped, that meth was the most important, like, popular drug back then.
Yeah.
Third Eye Blind was singing about it. They were snorting it. And look at how many hits they produce.
Yeah. I mean, Cartoon Network is as successful as it is because of everything that they did. So fuck it. You gotta toss it up somewhere.
Because before their own originals, they were just kind of like an accumulation of like different IPs that were playing on there. Yeah. It was the network for cartoons.
Mm-hmm. And I think they had originally started by playing old Hanna-Barbera cartoons,
Looney Tunes, Hanna-Barbera, yeah.
And that's where they spun off, and then you got Boomerang, the channel Boomerang. It was the rollback for all the old cartoons or whatever, and then Cartoon Network started their own thing.
Was Space Ghost Coast to Coast, was that like the first original for Cartoon Network?
One of the originals, yeah. I watched the shit
when they start making their own content.
I watched the shit out of Space Ghost Coast to Coast. I mean,
Johnny Quest, was that?
Johnny Quest is Hanna-Barbera.
There was a new one and an old one.
Yeah.
Old one was Hanna-Barbera. Yeah. New one
was
The New Adventures of Johnny Quest,
something like that. Yeah. Which is what spun off and became. Well, I don't say became, but I think that's what Venture Brothers ended up becoming.
Yeah.
Because that's what a lot of
real close to it.
Yeah, real close. Like, but some of the weird shit that was on there. Like, do you ever watch? What was it?
Then from Venture Brothers, we got Metalocalypse.
C-Lab 2021. Or C-Lab 2020, is that what it was? Some fucking weird shit. Dude, oh my God. I want to watch cartoons right now. That's all I want to do.
I kind of do too. I literally, like, I keep looking at my phone like I should be taking notes.
Yes.
Or saying all this. I just want to, like, look.
Oh, man.
Like, HBO Now or HBO Go or whatever it's called has, like, a lot of fucking, like, Cartoon Network shit on there.
If it's got the old
makes
stuff,
me want to just fuck with it.
C-Lab was weird, man. There was a character on there called Dolphin Boy. He was like a little kid. It was like weird. It was like a weird, like, cut, like, animation, like almost like Tim and Eric's, like, cartoon that they did, like that type of stuff. It was like Dolphin Boy, like he'd be in here like, not now, Dolphin Boy. He was like,
oh man.
I mean, that's, Space Ghost Coast to Coast. So I originally had seen the original Space Ghost. I remember watching that as a kid, like growing up or whatever. And one of the characters, like my handle is Locarthemanbeast, and that's one of the characters from Space Ghost. Is Locar. He's like the little green locust guy, but his name is spelled Lokar, and I spelled it Locar because I was like, well, if I ever get big, I don't want to ever become copywritten or whatever. That was my whole fucking idea behind it. Well, whatever. But yeah, there was just one episode. He's like, I am Locar, the man beast. And I was like, that's fucking
shit.
Yeah, that's hysterical. And I just took
That's where it all comes from.
That's where it all came from. I've been Locar for fucking, I don't know. I think my handle went into effect like 2002, 2003.
There you go. Setting up roots. Hey, another 10, 20 years, that might just be like open IP.
10, 20 years.
Steamboat Willie.
That or 10, 20 years, I might be able to sue someone for using the name. Different times, man. Different times. That's what I watched. I like every once in a while I'll put on some of the newer end cartoons. I just don't get it. I think that's my problem.
It feels like they cut corners.
No, I just feel like
it really does feel just kind of.
It's way too.
The style feels lazy, I guess.
Someone did a 1-for-1 for every cartoon that was like a popular cartoon, and it was all they just like Gumball, fucking Steven Universe or whatever, and they just took all of the characters and then they just like scratched out their hair or whatever, and it's all drawn the exact same way. Like they layered over the top, and it was just like slightly altered, but all the same like exact style of drawing. So I think
old Disney ones.
Kind of more, not like laid over it like that, but like every character from each of the cartoons is drawn the exact same way, so they could just pump it out super fast. Just incredibly easy, round circles, faces, So like it didn't have any uniqueness. So every time you watch, fucking Uncle Grandpa or whatever, there's some of the weird ass fucking cartoons that are out. None of them, like, you didn't know what you were watching because they all looked like you were watching the same thing. Like between Steven Universe, Uncle Grandpa, and something else, it was like a bear versus bear, or barons, some fucking shit like that. They all are
Berensteins?
No, it's called bear bears or some shit like that. I don't know what it is. Again, it's Cartoon Network. It's current Cartoon Network stuff. They're all drawn the exact same style that does not make them unique enough to know what you're watching. Everything is like very, like, I think the last couple of unique ones that I had watched was like Adventure Time when it was big, and like
Adventure Time,
Regular Show. Those are the two that like I got really involved with. I loved Adventure Time. I loved Regular Show.
Yeah,
we'll still do that today. We'll walk around and be like, whoa. Like just Regular Show is dope. Regular Show is so fun. I just rewatched all of it recently. Just went back. It's on fucking Hulu or something.
Yeah, me and my girl not just watched, but we went through like Adventure Time, and after a while I was like, man, I smoked a lot of weed last time I was watching this.
So the guy that did that show did he has a podcast. And I
don't know if I want to watch it.
He talked to like weird people, or people that had like weird traumatic things happen to them or whatever. And like they had conversations and they were opened up about it, and they had this whole thing. And then he had, with their approval or whatever it came out to, like obviously on their podcast, but then turned that into an animated show. It's called Midnight Express. And it's like, it's cool, but it's heavy. Like I watched it because I was like, oh, guy did Adventure Time. Yeah, clicked, watched the first episode and was like, I need to go to counseling. Like I need to talk to somebody. Like instantly was like, I need to call somebody and tell my parents I love them. You know, shit like that. Like
it's like that. What was it? Happy Tree Friends or whatever. But without like the funny parts.
Yeah, nothing funny about art style was all over the place. Like he's talking to some lady and like he has her drawn like a dragon or whatever, and they're like floating through space and doing shit, and she's talking about like how she was like on the edge of killing herself and shit like that. It's like, what the fuck? Like, just way out there, man.
You go to turn it off, and then you feel bad for what you're hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll listen to your story.
I watched almost all of that because I was like, really, like, it's to the point where if you listen to it like a podcast and you just watch it as a cartoon or whatever, some of the shit that people talk about was like, you know, how they overcome certain things and how they like were able to see it in a different light and how it's made them better people later. So it's really an inspirational, like, listen, and it's great to hear, but it's heavy.
But
you
it's
just
heavy.
You just have to be in that mindset. Like, if you're already in your dark days, you don't put that on. It's like, that's not helping, you know.
You know what? I was gonna do it, but I'm gonna put this gun down and I'm gonna watch this episode from somebody who made one of my childhood favorite cartoons. Just 2 minutes in.
Never mind. I should probably put a second bullet in just in case I missed the first one. Oh, Christ.
Fuck.
Yeah, man. I think that's what I'm going to get back into. Cartoons.
It's cartoons.
Just giving it full tilt.
It's not bad. There's plenty out there. It's just I've found that it's the will when nostalgia. I don't know how you describe it. When the nostalgia wears off, if it still like holds up, I think that's the hardest part for some. Because some of these things that I watch, and I'm like, where you just feel like I should just left that like a happy memory. But there's some stuff I was like, yeah, this is great.
I don't think that there have been many cartoon, and I think maybe it's also because I'm a child, right? I'll always be a child.
Fucking childish.
I'm pretty fucking childish. So when I go back and watch cartoons, not a single point of me goes like, I've outgrown this. Like maybe the newer cartoons a little bit, but also watch like Amazing World of Gumball and be like,
just your door flies open. Audrey, what the fuck is going on here? Get out! I'm an adult! I'm an adult! I'm an adult! The door slams.
I've got a Go-Gurt, a fruit roll-up. What do you remember fucking gummy? Was it gummy lifesavers? Fruity gummy lifesavers? They came in like the pack. You slide them out. They were like rings.
Oh yeah,
and you just
the best.
Oh yeah, stick them through your tongue before you bite them. Yeah, that's
and they wonder why we're so good at eating.
Yeah, boom! Lots of practice.
They were grooming us. They were grooming us. Why don't you eat these lifesavers, boy?
Just they groomed us, but no one told us porn was actually hard to get into.
Yeah.
How good is your tongue? Great. Awesome. How big's your penis? Oh.
You have to work on that dick to leg ratio.
Dick to leg ratio.
I can't remember. I think it was Two Bears, One Cave with like Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer. Bert's Bert. And he's like, dude, Thomas Gray, I think. Some guy, he's all, something Gray is my favorite porn actor. I love his dick. I love watching girls get fucked by his dick, and I love his tattoos. He's all, well, it just so happens I brought him on the podcast, and it's like a Zoom call. He's all, dude, show me your dick. And he's like, huh? He's all, you get paid to show your dick. How much money do I need to say you just see your dick? He's like, shows. He's all, that's a great dick. That's a great dick. And Tom's just like this, and he's all, you got the biggest dick in porn? And he's all, well, actually, like my dick to body ratio. That's what we call it in the biz, the dick to body. I use the tattoos to kind of lean out my legs, and that like kind of makes the non-tattooed dick stand out more, blah, blah, blah. And Bert's just in it. Just like, yeah, tell me more. But like he said, like the dick to body ratio. I was like, oh shit.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, you don't work out your legs. You let them get scrawny so everything around it looks bigger.
That's why fucking, what's the politically correct term? Little people?
Midgets.
I think midgets is right, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I just learned I can't say Zambo anymore.
Dude, I got a fucking retard Randy shirt on. You think we're politically correct? Come on, let's let it rip.
But
let's go, Randy.
That's why all of them look like they got fucking giant ass penises. It's like body size does not match a normal penis.
Yeah.
I wish I was shorter. Like girls out there
Yeah.
fucking laying into dudes under fucking 5'10". It's like, yeah, but I bet you his dick
Till we
looks
take
huge.
our fucking pants off.
Yeah, exactly. You're 6'2".
If this dick was on a small body, I'd look like a big dick.
You know I'm a grower.
Oh, by the way, why did I send you a picture of my penis? I woke up. The first thing my girl said was, "Hey, stop sending pictures of your dick to people." I was like, "What?" And just like laughed. And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And then got home. I think like a day later, I went to text you, so I pulled up and opened. I'm like, "That's my dick." And then I just remembered me being like, "You said to send a picture of my dick," so I went into the room and I was trying to get it hard, but I knew I was sending it to you, and that's gay if I'm getting my dick hard for you. And like that's all I remember. I don't know why.
Sean left, and Sean said that he was on his way home. And I said, okay, when you get home,
So my dick went to Sean.
It went to Sean. I said, when you get home, send me a picture of your dick to make sure that, you know, you're safe or whatever. And he's like, okay. So then he sent me a picture of his thumb through his pants. And I was like, that's not going to cut it. And so I remember asking, we were sitting out in the front room, and I was like, anybody want to send me a penis picture? And you were like, got you. And then everybody like chastised me, like, why'd you call it a penis picture? That's fucking weird. It's like, because we're not asking for a dick pic. I just need a penis picture.
There we go. That's why it didn't need to be hard.
That's why I didn't need to be hard. And then you're like,
Yeah.
it said it. And I was like, no, it's supposed to go to Sean. So I just forwarded it to Sean.
Also, I think it's weird though,
What?
guys. If your friend asks for a dick pic, just set. Are you not friends?
Yeah.
Have you not seen it before? Send it.
It's a weird concept to think about as well. Cause like, I mean, I've been in showers with guys, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not asking
just
to
last
suck
weekend.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I go to prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that a body's a body, man. I've seen a dick. I've seen 100 of them.
I see them all the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't fucking faze me anymore,
Yeah. Oh yeah. In the medical business, I assume.
dude. That's why all I think about, like the amount of dicks that I've seen, and I'm not even like a nurse. How many dicks have nurses seen, and how many times was I bartending and like some nurse was in there that I know was a nurse? So the guy's like, "I sent your dick pic out." Now I want to be like, "Hey, dude, she's not impressed. I promise you."
Yeah.
You know what's impressive? When you see like a fucking 110-pound like homeless man who's got a fucking hog, and it snaps you out of he's homeless, you're just like, holy shit! Like,
Yeah.
that's what probably what impresses.
There's a
them.
reason why he's homeless.
Yeah. He can't keep it in his fucking pants. He's getting kicked out everywhere he goes.
I was just gonna, he chose to be there.
Yeah.
It's the only way I could stay safe from society. They're just trying to use me the whole time. Yeah, dude. Oh, I could not imagine like that idea of like when we were kids, but I had a friend in high school that was very much like, I'm gonna be a gynecologist. Like, you know, you have to see the bad ones as well as the good ones there, bud. Like, you know what I mean? Like
and at that point, where are you drawing the line of good?
well, I think more or less like it's that concept of like you thinking like in this sexual manner when you're not there, but when you're in a job that has to deal with naked bodies and shit like that all day long, you're just kind of like desensitized by it. You know what I mean? Like it's just like
you think your job is like, that's a perfect pussy, and you get like a stamp of approval. No, it's like, I've got something terrible happening. It smelled for 2 weeks, and I don't know what's coming out of me.
yeah, it's exactly right. But I mean, not even just that. And like for guys, it's the same thing. Like I can only imagine. Like a lot of guys are like, "Oh man, I don't want to have a female doctor that's gonna see my dick or whatever." It's like, she's a doctor, bro. Who gives a shit? She's not.
No, exactly.
She's not there to be like, "Oh, I'm impressed. Let me take my clothes off." She's like,
You know what she did in labs to become a doctor?
Yeah.
She dissected a dick. She literally cut one open on a cadaver.
Yeah,
she don't give a fuck about
she's
you.
there to fucking give you a shot so it stops weeping yellow ooze. Like,
Weeping.
yeah.
Yeah, I tell. So right now at the hospital, they want us to start doing like breast MRIs.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at him. I was like, listen, I'll tell you full fledged. I was a titty guy my whole life until I started working MRI. I don't want to see tits. I don't want to scan tits. I don't want nice tits. I don't want bad tits. I don't want any tits. I want you to keep that the fuck away from our scanner.
So it's just a mess.
They're hard.
Yeah.
they're hard. They're not fun for anybody. It's uncomfortable for anybody. It's just like,
yeah. It's part of the medical
I got to
business.
imagine I got to imagine that's like a young nurse who's going through nursing school who's just like at the bar, just fucking soaking it up. And now she's fucking 2 years in. She's a real RN. She's on night shift. She doesn't give a fuck about your dick.
Yeah.
Fucking watch Grey's Anatomy with her and rub her feet.
Yeah.
That's what'll do it.
That's the that idea also is like the whole thing about like seeing tits or whatever, like your MRI or all these things. Imagine be a fucking butt doctor. Like I'm here for my colonoscopy, doc. You know what I mean? That dude is literally like, you're fine, get out of here. Yeah. Well, I hit 50 or whatever the fuck it is, 45, 55 or whatever.
That's the one that never get old. Get a condom for your thumb that looks like the Magic School Bus. Miss Frizzle. Just make it weird.
That's how you get
a
lawsuits.
new gimmick every time. Yeah. And that's why you have medical insurance.
If I had a doctor and I went in for a colonoscopy and he made airplane noises before he stuck his finger in my ass, I'd probably only see that doctor for the rest of my life.
Oh, I was gonna say, I bet you they do it more often than you think because patients are out for those.
Yeah,
they're doing all sorts of weird shit.
Which is a weird thing for me. Why? That has to,
why can't I stay awake and enjoy it?
That's not it. That just, I would not take the risk of anesthesia for someone putting something in my asshole. You know what I mean? Like those two just don't weigh out, man. If I gotta bite a towel, I'll bite a towel. But for fuck's sake, you're not putting my heart to sleep or my brain to sleep. You know, we're not doing that.
Can you just take me to like Michael Jackson level? Like I don't want to like out. You know, I just want to like
just all I need.
In and out.
All I need is candles and a rose, and don't go in dry. You can do whatever you want in there. I'm paying you, so you obviously know what I'm doing or you're doing. He's got that fucking song played from is it Reservoir Dogs? He's just dancing in front of you. Don't know what doing tonight. Oh God, what are you gonna do to me, dog?
If anything, that's you. Just off like a little like, just make me a little loopy.
Yeah,
please get on the table. How do you want me?
Yeah, just fucking.
I'm the one that makes it weird.
Just asked out, sir. We just need you to lay on your side. No, I'm doing it like this. I watched this in a porn. I heard you can go deeper this way. I'm really relaxed. You could probably get your whole fist in there.
So this is the waiting room.
I brought my dog collar just for today.
A full gimp suit, hand behind your back, just hopping to the table.
Sir,
can you unzip the back for me?
I thought you just needed blood work. Oh, Christ.
Oh man.
See, I want to make it weird for the doctors. At the end of the day,
it's doable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, Doc has gone through it 100 million times. The one dude shows up in a gimp outfit. He's like, what the fuck is going on? I'm here for my colonoscopy. Like that's going to stick in his brain. It's going to do one of two things. He'll go home the end of the day and be like, what a fucking cool dude. Or he'd be like, I think I need to maybe swap departments. Oh, Christ. All right. Monday's podcast. Hope you all enjoyed this fucking shit show.
Happy Monday, fuckers.
Happy Monday. All right, we'll be back in on next Monday. Recording will be on Fridays. So we'll see you all very soon. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.